friends, I'm Jennifer Cook and this is the Peacock Painting class. First of all, make sure you watch the setup video so that you have everything ready for painting on this video. So we're going to do this step by step. So I'm going to do a step and then you can pause the video and do the step and then play and see the next step, and we'll keep going like that. So this is pretty fun. I like this one a lot and I hope you do too. So here we go. You have 3 brushes. This is going to be the flat wide brush. You have a flat smaller brush, and then you have a little round brush. We're going to use those today. And you have your tray of paints just like me. Alright, so we're going to start like we always do in the background and work our way forward. So we're going to start with the lightest color first and mix to the darkest color. And our lightest color is going to be this right here, the magenta color. And we're going to actually use the big brush like this, and we're going to put some streaks of white on there. So wet your big brush in your water and squeeze the water out with your fingers. So you're going to squeeze the water out like this over your cup. Pick up a little bit of white paint like this, and we're going to streak it from the corner in at an angle like that. And just put a few more white streaks in there. Pick up a little more paint. Like that, and that'll give us some white to mix into. You don't have to clean your brush. So we're going to go to magenta, which is in the corner of your tray. And we're going to just brush over top of that white the same direction, that same diagonal direction, and just go all the way to your peacock feather. You can go back and forth to cover up that canvas, and that should start to mix for you, just like that. I'm going to pick up a little more magenta, and you can make it a little bit more dark if you want, or you can add a little bit more white and make it lighter. Either way is fine. I'm not really outlining anything, just kind of go into it. And I'm just doing the same angle, same brush stroke the whole time. If your brush feels dry, you can put a little drop of water on it so it mixes a little easier. We're going to come all the way down this side here. Same brush stroke, same direction. Make sure you don't have any of that canvas texture showing through. You don't want to put so much paint on there that you can't see your feather outlines anymore either. So your paint's thin enough that you can still see through it. If you can't see through it, you can take a little piece of paper towel and kind of wipe over those so you can see them. While we have that on our brush, we're going to go ahead and get the edges. Just like that. And just the edges where the paint touches. Remember, you can pause and catch up whenever you need to. So you can see I did the top edge, that corner good, and I did the side edge. There we go. Alright, I'm not gonna clean my brush. I'm just gonna wipe this paint off of it onto my paper towel. If your brush feels dry and sticky, then you might want to go ahead and wash it out. but we don't want it too wet. So if you do wash it out, make sure you squeeze the water out of it with your fingers. All right, now we're going to go to the next color, which is the purple. It should be beside your magenta on the tray. We're just going to brush from this side into that pink and let it blend. Kind of a light brush stroke, like I'm not pressing real hard. I'm using the tip of my brush and just kind of sweeping it into it. So it's more of a sweep. I know this is moving a little bit as I do it. I'm not going to go into this area. And I could work backwards and take a little magenta or even a little touch of white, put it on my brush, just kind of sweep into it like that. Yeah, just work it around. There's really no right or wrong to this background. Like I got a little dark up there, so I'm going to add a little light to it. There we go. And I'm just kind of working it out on my brush. I'm going to go a little bit further with the purple. This purple is called Violet. And I can still see where my feathers are. I don't know if you can. I can still see those. So make sure you're not putting the paint on so thick that you can't see them anymore. And after I get about this far down, I'm going to switch to blue. Put some blue in here. Just kind of let that blend into the purple a little bit. There we go. And I like to go from one end to the other, because if you go here and stop, then you have a brush mark. So I like to pull it all the way in. Make sure you get those canvas texture covered. If the canvas is not covering, then you might just want to put a little drop of water on your brush when you pick up more blue. And that will help it cover. If you get it too wet, then it'll be thin. And it'll be translucent, and you don't want that. Okay. I'm just going to go in here a little bit. So I went into my feather some, just so it has something to lay on. There we go. All right, get your edges. So this edge is blue. And up here it's purple. There we go. And wash your brush out. Get it nice and clean and squeeze the water out. There you go. Now we're going to switch to this smaller flat brush. I like to use this because I feel like I have a little more control with it than I do a round brush. And we're going to start with the eye of the feather. So we're going to get our dark blue and we're going to outline inside this middle area. So I lay my brush on. You can wet it, just make sure you squeeze the water out all the way. I didn't even wet mine. And I'm trying to flatten my paint, my brush on the side of my tray. So I'm just like pressing it against the side to get it as flat as possible. So see how skinny it looks? And I'm going to use that to go around the inside of this. Just like that. Then I'm going to wipe this dark blue off my brush to where there's not any more coming off. I didn't wash it, just wiped it off. And I'm going to go to teal. And I'm going to make brush strokes that go up and down. So I'm turning my brush so it makes a skinny brush stroke like this. And I'm gonna go, can you see what I'm doing? Let's see. This way, in there. Like that. I'm gonna take a little more dark and pull in around the edges with the dark. So I'm just using the corner of my brush. You could use the little round brush for this part. So we can use the little round brush and go around it. And all my brush strokes are going the same direction. I'm going to try not to touch that wet background. You can let yours dry in between if you want it to, the background and the middle section. And then, so all my lines are going this way when I do it. Like that. And I'm going to put a little touch of white in there. Just to kind of give it that little bit of highlight. There we go. And now we are going to do clean your brush, clean your flat brush, clean both brushes. Squeeze the water out of them. And we're going to go to dark green. It's in the corner of your tray. So see, it's like an evergreen color. Try to flatten your brush as best you can. And we're going to outline the inside of this next part of the eye. Right here. So I just turn my brush so it makes a skinny line. Like that. Then wipe your brush off. Get that dark green off of it. And go to lime green. That color. And we're going to go around the outside of the blue. Like that. And then we're going to take our skinny brush. We're going to brush the same direction we did before, like this way, up and down. So like I'm not going sideways here. I'm going to go this direction because all the feather will go the same direction. And you could even take a little bit of dark and brush down from that tip into it. There we go. All right. Now our next color, we're going to clean our brush. Clean it with water. Squeeze the water out. And go to dark blue again. So the dark blue is going to edge, and I'm going to make my brush as flat as possible. The dark blue is going to edge next to that green. So going. And it's kind of flicking up a little bit like that. Wipe it off your brush and go to teal. We're going to start here and pull it down. at the bottom too. All right. Wipe that off your brush. And we're going to go back to dark green. We're going to start at the tip. Get your brush as flat, flat, flat as possible. So wipe it on the side of your tray and get it flat. I'm going to start with this tip. And pull it around. Back to the stem. Flatten your brush out again and do the other side. Dark green. Just like that. Then I'm going to take this dark green and I'm going to do some of these other parts of the feather and work my way down. Just like that. And just follow the contours that you have. Keep your brush flat as possible. Follow the contours that you have. And just keep doing your brush so it stays flat. Keep wiping it off. And we're going to go ahead and outline the stem with the same green color. Just stay to the side of it. All right, now we're going to take this green off of our brush and clean it. Clean it really well. All right. Now we're going to go to a lime green. Flatten your brush with the lime green. Get it as flat as possible. And I really do have a lot more control with, I'm going to put some of this lime green in here. I do have a lot more control with this flat brush as opposed to that little round brush. And that's why I'm using it for most of this part of it. It's still in here. There we go. And then I'm going to start going around. Just kind of fill in some of these sections with lime green. Lots of little parts to that feather, huh? And I just keep flattening my brush out every time I get new paint. Flatten it back out. Just kind of start filling in some of those areas. Go to the other side. There we go. Fill in a little bit of this down here. There we go. All right, Now we're going to go to our next color, so clean your brush, squeeze the water out of it, same small flat brush, dark blue. Flatten your brush on the side of your tray, get it as skinny as possible. And we're going to kind of start filling in some of these areas. Go ahead and fill that in a little bit more down here at the bottom. Keep your brush skinny so it doesn't get wide on you. Go. Start covering some of that background up. It's easier to cover up on this side, isn't it? Because it's already somewhat that color tied into the stem of the feather. Just keep going, filling it in. There we go. I feel like I need a few more blues on this side. Maybe get rid of where that pink's showing through next to the middle a little bit. There we go. Alright, I'm going to clean my brush. And our next color is going to be teal. So clean your brush, squeeze the water out of it. Try to flatten your brush on the side of the tray. And we're just going to start going over top of some of these feathers. And this is kind of a brighter color, so it makes them stand out a little bit more. Just keep your brush as skinny as possible. See how it's starting to stand out a little bit more? The wetter your brush is, the more the colors are going to blend on there. The drier it is, the more they're going to be individual. So just kind of keep that in mind as you dip it in water and try to squeeze the water out of it. Keep it as dry as possible. And keep it as skinny as possible. There we go. We're going to do the other side. So all these colors should be kind of showing through. You should be able to place them where you're still seeing. They might overlap some, but you should still be able to see most of them. Try to get rid of some of those gaps where that background shows now as I look at this and do it. There. All right. And I'm cleaning my brush. I'm going to go to gold. That metallic gold color. Try to get all that glue off there. Otherwise it will mix with our gold. We don't really want it to mix. We want that gold to pop. So get your brush as flat as possible. So no water in your brush. Squeeze it all out. Wipe your brush on the side of your tray to get it flat. And we're just going to do little skinny outlines of gold, like around things. Just put those little highlights in there. See how that's starting to pop? And they could be a little more of a hit and miss. Instead of a whole streak, it could be like a hit and a miss there. Like two parts, like boom, boom. So pick up in between, and that's okay. You do it that way. Just kind of randomly space them out. There we go. No canvas showing through at this point. Make sure all the canvas that was showing through is gone. I might make that a little bit longer. I want that middle section to be a little bit longer. So those first two I have cave out, and the rest of them kind of cave in. There we go. Hit and miss. All the other colors are starting to shine through too. There we go. That little shimmer of that gold really pops when the sun hits it or the light hits it. It's really pretty. All right. Now I'm going to wash my brush. So wash your brush out, get it nice and clean. And we might even go to the little round brush, because my brush is starting to spread out on me. So let's do a little round brush. So you're going to take your little round brush and you're going to roll it in the white paint. So roll it on the side of your tray so you get a point like this. And then you can kind of just touch some of these spots lightly. And I'm not doing like a whole brush stroke or outlining. I'm just doing like a little hit and miss here and there, like this. I think I'm going to hit right in here a little bit. Put a few little brush strokes in here, a few little out here. And then see how that white makes it start to pop? And then just randomly hit and miss. And it really makes the painting pop between that gold and the white. Makes it stand out a lot. There we go. Just make sure that you go back and look that you don't have any white canvas showing through here or pink or, you know, go back and maybe fill it in a little bit if you have any. And just kind of check it over. Make sure you got your edges. Make sure you got your white to make it pop a little bit. Just kind of look it over and see that it looks the way you want it. You could always come back, like if you think, oh, I don't have enough lime green. You can say, oh, let's add a little bit of lime green to it. And just pop a little bit in here and there. But you don't want to add so much paint that it starts to get muddy, because if you overlap too much, then it will start to mix and turn brown and get muddy. So you got to know when to stop too. All right, I'm looking at it and it looks pretty good. Looks like the way I want it to look. And every time I do this feather painting, it always looks different. So they all look a little bit different even though we're all painting the same thing. And that's totally fine. So once you get all this finished, then you're going to sign your name. Make sure it's small down here in the bottom. Not just use white. So roll your brush in white paint. Get a tip. And just real small like you would on the top of a school paper or something. Write your name on there. Like that, nice and small. All right, well, we hope you had fun and you enjoyed your feather painting. Please post on the library website so we can see what you did. Tell Miss Colette that you enjoyed it or you had fun, or, you know, tell her hi and thank you for doing this. So we'll see you around the library. Y'all have a good day. Bye.